What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Hope all is well with you guys, that you enjoyed all the very, very good bouts last night. I want to say thanks to the people that are tuning in that are subscribers. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can know when we release more videos. And also, I hope that you would attend the live streams that we do. I would definitely one of the better things about the channel and the more fun things to do is to have real-time interaction with fans. So boxing fans and friends of the page. So I hope that you accept that invite. Also, thank you to everybody that supports through Super Chat and Venmo. It is very, very, very much appreciated. Now, let's talk about this, the main bout that happened last night that I haven't already covered in the video. Of course, were several fights last night and through the day. Alexander Usyk unified the cruiserweight division in a terrific performance over Murad Gassiev. That was very, very entertaining. Also, in another unifying fight for the unified, I believe it's the welterweight title for the women, Cecilia Brækhus put on an incredible show in Russia on the undercard of the Alexander Usyk Murad Gassiev fight. That was a terrific fight to watch. She is really a special talent in women's boxing and is very, very enjoyable to see. But this one I'm going to talk about, the WBO 154-pound or super welterweight title fight that was held between Jaime Munguia, the champion, and Liam Smith, who was the challenger. We know Liam Smith because Liam Smith had also fought Canelo Alvarez. Liam Smith, I do believe, is the brother of Callum Smith, who's going to be in the finals. Of the 168-pound World Boxing Super Series. Just some real very experienced fighter, comes from a fight family, and he's an experienced boxer. Now, here's my thing, man, with Jaime Munguia, and I think this is not necessarily a indictment of Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is a young guy. He's got a lot of fights, 30 fights, but he turned pro in Mexico, and I think, really he's just kind of now jumping up to the world stage. He's somebody that they were going to try to get, completely get brushed off by having him fight Gennady Golovkin. And after what I saw last night, if he had fought Gennady Golovkin, he would have ruined the kid. But instead, somebody or some sanctioning bodies were smart enough not to allow that fight to take place. And Jaime Munguia goes and fights Saddam Ali, who unexpectedly got the belt from Miguel Cotto, and he does it in spectacular fashion. Jaime Munguia, just too big, too strong, too powerful for Saddam Ali, and he kind of runs through. You got to forgive me. I got Tiger Woods in the background watching this golf. I'm going to close my eyes and not pay attention, so I won't stop talking. But anyway, that's what sets up the fight. Now, Munguia, there's a lot of excitement around Munguia as being, because he had a really good performance against Saddam Ali. But look, let's pump the brakes on this kid. In my opinion, what this kid is he's a prospect. He's a prospect with a belt. Right? There's three types of, I guess there's four types of boxers, generally speaking, right? There's prospects, there are contenders, there are gatekeepers, prospects, gatekeepers, contenders, and champions. And then farter, I guess, just the guys, who are out there just to be, also-rans or opponents, right? So an opponent is a guy that is just there to give, or a journeyman is a better way to write it. So you have the journeyman, the contender, right? The prospect, the contender, the gatekeeper, and the champion. He's not a journeyman because he is where I figure somewhere between a prospect. He's a champion who really is a prospect. And I don't think quite yet, if we didn't have so many divisions, I don't think quite yet he would be a prospect. I mean, he would be a contender. I think he would be in the prospect phase because he's clearly still learning on the job. And when you go from amateur to pro, you're still learning things. It's not a scenario where, you turn pro at that early in age and you don't have to continually learn, right? You get experience by fighting the gatekeepers. You get experience by facing the contenders, by facing the journeyman, and all the way through that, you get and you develop your skill set, and and that's okay. That's part of growing as a boxer. It's part of growing as an athlete. Period. So that's where I think Jaime Munguia is. I think that he has a belt, and the reason he has a belt is because the championship belts and promoter, number one, a promoter put him in the right position, and there's 4 major championship belts, and when you have 4 major championship belts, you're always going to have at least one of those guys, unless one guy holds all of them, like in the case with Alexander Usyk in cruiserweight or Terrence Crawford briefly at 140 pounds last year. You're always going to have one guy that you're always going to have some question about, who the champion really is. And with Jaime Munguia, looking at what happened against a gatekeeper, I think that's a fair way to describe Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh is a guy, or a journeyman. Liam Walsh is somebody that is really just supposed to be in there for you to look good against, for him to give you, test you a little bit, get you some more experience while you're on your way up the ranks, and not really supposed to give you a serious fight at this stage in Liam Walsh's career. And he did that, I believe, and a little bit more from Munguia. To Munguia. Now, Munguia was getting a whole lot. Man, I have no idea how Harold Letterman's scoring fights anymore. Harold Letterman gave Jaime Munguia every round except for the first in that fight. I was like, are you kidding me? The first 3 or 4 rounds, I was on a live stream with Trey X, and I swear half the people in there were like, I got it 1-3, 3-1. I had it 3-1. In the first 4 rounds, I had it 3-1 for Liam Smith. But somehow Harold Letterman had him winning. He had it 3-1 for Jaime Munguia, and Jaime Munguia running all the way out. Jaime Munguia comes in at a straight line. He's jumping. He's lunging in with his punches. He's really wide and he's sloppy. And I mean, he just really does not look like he's far from being polished. And he really does they need to take this kid slow and get his defense tightened up, because his power, for him hitting Liam Smith with all the bombs that he hit Liam Smith with, and for Liam Smith to still be there fighting, obviously the cat's punching power is not that devastating. You know what I mean? So, but if he gets in there with a guy like Jermell Charlo, if he gets in there with Trout, if he gets in there with Hurd, any of these guys, man, in my belief, any of these guys are going to wind up beating that kid, and they're going to wind up beating that kid. They're going to wind up beating that kid bad, for what it's worth. I think they're going to wind up beating that kid bad. Just because he's fundamentally so unsound and he's so easy to hit. And I really don't see him having the power to really overcome a guy like Jermell Charlo. So, my take it is this. Look, this guy's a contender. He's a prospect with a belt. Even in the conversation with man, I'm telling you, not Harold Letterman, but HBO, wow, God, man, these guys kill me. HBO had Max Kellerman and Jim Lampley talking about the prospect of this guy fighting either Canelo Alvarez or Gennady Golovkin, right? They left the names of all the other 160 pounders out of the mix, and they definitely left the name out of all the 154 pounders out of the mix, probably because none of those guys are on HBO, and that's kind of how they roll. But At 160 pounds, man, could you, if Jermell Charlo was hitting Jaime Munguia with the same shots that Liam Smith was hitting him with, man, that kid might not have got out of the fight. But, you know, that's what you get. Again, that's what you get when you have four championship belts, and you also have the potential to have 40 different guys ranked in the top 10 in any given weight division. Because when you have, and many times they have multiple, the top 10 are drastically different from one sanctioning body to another. A lot of times sanctioning bodies, one sanctioning body will have multiple guys in the top 10 that aren't in the top 10 of any of the other sanctioning bodies. So even though that's not, I doubt that in actuality there are 40 different guys in the top 10, because there'll be multiple guys that are in each of the top 10, but still can be 20, 30, 40 different guys who are ranked in the top 10 of sanctioning bodies. So, and then the fact that if you only had one sanctioning body and one champion, one sanctioning body with one champion, then everybody else with the belts would be ranked opponents, right? So like in the heavyweight division, it could very well be that Deontay Wilder be the number one challenger, or Anthony Joshua, who has 3 belts at heavyweight, you know, really would have just beaten 3 other top contenders, and Deontay Wilder would be the champion, and he would be the number 1 contender, right? And so when you look back in all these other eras and where they only had one champion, you could see how potentially they could have multiple guys who could have been champion, but even to be the number 1 contender, you know, back in the 1960s would make you a champion today, or a number 3 contender in the 1960s would make you a champion today. So, you know, it is what it is, man. The sanctioning bodies are going to be, you know, they are what they are. And, you know, but Jaime Munguia, man, all this talk on Jaime Munguia, you know, it was a lot of excitement after his fight with Liam Walsh. But just let's be real, man. We gotta stop the talk, man. This guy's not ready. He's not ready for the top guys at 160 for sure. I don't think he's ready for the top guys at 154. So anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.